right, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. It's your boy Xage here, of course, joined by a familiar and beautiful and stunning and magnificent face. We got Sara Kawai back on the podcast.
Hello.
Super glad to have you on the podcast again. Thanks for wanting to do this with me. Thanks for being one of the first people back on. You look dope. I like the beige fit.
Thank you.
Kind of fire. What I'm excited about with these podcasts and the returning guests is that before everybody was still in school. So the main conversation was like, how'd you get to college? What's your interest in music? So we're just going to skip past all that. How are you? What's going on in life right now?
Life is very up and down. I feel like in my career, I'm doing a lot of great things that I've been wanting to do and like accomplishments that I'm achieving. But then on the other side, like the money is not like following at the moment. So it's just like I'm on a high a lot, but then like look at my bank account, like fuck, like what?
I definitely get that.
And like I see a lot of people praising me for like all the shit that I'm doing, and I appreciate that, but also like I'm struggling and I want people to know that. And like if you want to send me money, feel free.
That's so valid. I feel like one of the first 5 things I said to you when you got here was that I'm still broke as shit. So I totally get that. Why do you think that is? Because I'm starting to worry like maybe the money just isn't in the music industry anymore.
Yeah, it's like you gotta be like the best of the best to make, like even the top producers don't even make a lot from streaming. They have to have other incomes and like just streams of revenue. Twitch streaming or like selling things, products.
I feel like the game is products right now.
Yeah.
You've been working with a lot of producers, so I trust your judgment on that. Do a lot of them actually stream?
A lot of my friends do, and then I know like most of my friends still have jobs on the side, or they're just struggling to like hope they make it. That's what I'm like. I work at a company right now, but it's definitely not like a livable wage where I can just do that. And with the harp stuff on top, like, yeah, it's still not enough. So like, I don't want to work another job. So I'm fine working that job and then doing the harp stuff and producing stuff because I have more time in my hands to do what I want. But yeah, it's definitely a struggle.
Are you still at Timberland Company?
No, I actually left in October, and then I started working at this company called Layers. It's basically a plugin, and it helps producers make beat videos easier and faster. So it like syncs your video from your phone to the plugin on your DAW.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and then you just record while you're making the beat, and they'll just record video. And then they have an editing app, and you just like edit it for you. Like it looks like Ableton, and you just like drag up the clips, and like you can just pick whatever clips you like, and then make a beat video. And it's just a faster way to do things because I used to make beat videos all the time, but it took so much time editing afterwards, like 4 hours after, and I wanted to just focus on music, but then like you have to make all these videos to like blow up and shit. This company just helps with that process.
I totally relate. It reminds me of my podcasting experience. I felt like making the podcasting was so fun and so fulfilling, but then like having to do all the editing, it kills the entire joy of it. And then also I think it's so relevant that you brought up Layers, considering how we were just saying that all producers have to like be promoting themselves to make any money right now. So that sounds like a pretty dope tool. It sounds like something you believe in too, which is good.
It's a really cool company, and it's only like a 4-person team at the moment, including me. And the boss, the CEO, he was one of the first 5 people at Splice. So he was at the start, and then he left Splice during the past few years or something, and then started Layers.
How much is the application?
Oh, it's free.
Free?
Yeah, but it's a wait list.
Okay, because it's new.
Yeah, it's in beta right now. So what I do is A&R, and I just bring in producers to test out the product and do some content with us before we like actually launch.
Get the famous people in first. I get that. You get it that. Before you were saying that you don't want to take another job because you still want to have a little bit of free time, which I totally get. I also think like just living in LA in general is so expensive. I keep thinking about a lot of my friends who either still or for the first like 3 years out of college were living at their parents' house like rent free, and how that gave them this like net to start saving up money. And us living out here, we don't have that. And so it does make it hard. I think my perspective of the dollar is very fucked up from living in LA in general. But with your free time, have you still been able to focus on making beats and stuff as well?
Yeah, totally. Like I do sessions almost every day, and I work with my friends who are also producers. So it's just like nice to have that time to to focus on music. At B Club, I was like, I had to be in the office almost every day. And then when I would get home, I'd just be too tired to work on stuff. Or like I'd skip work to do sessions, and like I didn't always have that freedom to do that. So I would always have to lie and be like, sick. Or like
They probably didn't mind. I've seen you in the studio with a lot of different producers. Is there anybody that's been like standing out that you've been spending a lot of time with?
I just worked with Galimatias. He was a big SoundCloud producer back in the day. I've been a big fan of him for a while, but we just worked together like yesterday. That was the first time we met. And it was
Really?
Yeah,
Okay,
it was
nice.
amazing. We were mutuals for a while, but we haven't worked. He had all this cool gear, like this tape cassette. We recorded the harp through it. And then he had like a granular synthesizer thing. So I was playing with that a lot.
When you're doing these sessions, are you mostly playing harp?
Mostly, just playing harp. But I'm getting more comfortable, like dipping my toes in, like helping with the beat or like using the synths. Because I feel like I've been struggling with this confidence thing when I'm in a room full of these great musicians and they know a lot more than me in terms of like producing and like making like a full sound and beat. So I usually just sit in the back and like watch them do it. But I feel more comfortable doing that in sessions, which is good. But yeah, still learning a lot. And
Why do you think you feel more comfortable?
these past few months, I just been producing more on my own. I used to like make a beat every few days or like every week. And now I'm like more like focused on producing. So I feel more comfortable like producing in front of other people. And like I'm doing my own sessions with my girlfriends and producing for them. So I just feel more comfortable like showing what I can do other than harp.
As you should. I feel like you've been on the grind for years. I think it would be a disservice to you and everybody in there if you weren't jumping on at least a little bit. Do you remember the last time that I feel like I ran into you? We may have seen each other once since, but at Rebel Studio, that was like when I
That
felt
was
like,
so crazy.
obviously I've seen everything you were doing online, but like to run into you in person, we were both at a management company, you were in the studio working with these people. I just thought that was really like inspiring. I was like, damn, Sarah's really like on her grind. She's up in these studios every day working with these producers. I wish I recognized more producers. I feel like when I was younger and I first got into hip hop, I was recognizing everybody. And at this point, I'm like so
There's
untapped
so
in.
many people now.
That too. But I was even telling Wyatt, I'm like, I feel like I'm at that age now where I only listen to stuff that I like fell in love with in high school. I've completely fallen out of trying to be relevant with music
Yeah.
and stuff like
Dude,
that.
I feel the same. Like, even though I'm doing A&R now, it's more producer based. I'm looking for people, but like, I don't do much music discovery anymore. And I was doing that so much like a few years ago when I was like working at labels and doing A&R. And it's just like, there's just so much shit.
I feel like you must know all the producers because even your last job was very revolved
I mean,
around
yeah,
like
I
producer
know a
hunting.
lot of producers, but I just feel like I'm not tapped in with like upcoming artists.
Sure, I'm certainly not. I get that. Not to be cliche, but it does seem like every artist on the rise is like Lil that, Young that. It's hard to follow.
I feel.
Sounds dumb, but it really is true. And I also, of course, want to mention that you've been getting more into DJing. How has the DJ career been?
It's been really fun. I definitely want to do more gigs as they come up, but yeah, I'm still learning a lot. I don't want to call myself a DJ yet, just because I know there's so many talented DJs out there, and I don't feel like DJ enough to do that, to call myself
Everybody's
anything.
a DJ. You just press play.
Yeah.
Only I can say that because it's disrespectful. I know you are.
But yeah, I definitely am learning a lot and would love to do more and practice more. I just feel like I just have no time to practice at the moment, so hopefully I'll have more time.
Well, if anybody needs a DJ, holla at you.
Yep.
And then speaking of gigs, Wyatt and I were just asking you, can you please tell us about the super exciting gig you have coming up?
So next week I'm playing the NBA All-Star game. Not the game, but like they have this party for the
For the
board
rich
of,
people.
for the rich people,
Yeah.
the board of governors. I don't even know what that
I don't
means.
either.
They're paying for my flight and hotel and renting a harp out there for me, so I don't have to bring my
Damn,
harp.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, so
That's crazy.
it was really nice. Like they emailed me randomly. I was like, I thought it was fake at first. So I looked up the woman's name that like reached out to me, and she's like working at the arena. I was like, oh shit. And then
Actually, so funny.
I was talking to my manager. I was like, I don't know if I can do this. Are they gonna get a harp for me? I can't bring my harp there. I was thinking about driving there.
Where is it?
It's in Salt Lake City.
Damn, okay.
So I was like, like I don't know. And then my manager was like, let me just email them. And then they're like, yeah, we can rent a harp for you, no problem. I was like, Damn, okay.
That's so crazy. I'm picturing literally like something out of a movie scene, like a bunch of people in like suits smoking cigars and like you just on a little stage like playing the harp.
Dude.
Like it's probably just you, right?
No, yeah, probably just gonna be me
Like
playing
you're just
in the
creating an
background.
atmosphere.
Yeah.
That's sick. Like I think there's something to be said about the ability to create an atmosphere. It's something I used to think a lot more about when I was making music. But like you can really control the energy and emotion in a room by like playing music. Do you ever notice that when you're in the moment that you're like manipulating the experience of people around you?
It's a weird experience for me just because like I don't love playing background harp. I feel very like exposed because most people don't know or haven't been around a harp. So it's like they stare at me or they just watch me play. And I'm like, you guys can like talk. It's fine. Like, don't mind me. I just like notice like everyone looking at me while they're talking to other people. I'm just like, oh my God, I can't.
It's like a piece of art. You become a piece of art.
I just know I'm being looked at and it makes me uncomfortable. But
I get
no, it's cool though. Like everyone, like after I'm done, people are usually like, that was amazing, blah, blah, blah. But it's just like I'm playing all this music that I don't like. It's just like background serene ass music.
It makes me think of your show that you threw though, Kawai and Friends, of course. How was that experience?
It was crazy. Me and my manager, Annie, she brought up this idea to just throw a show with all my artist friends that I've made over the years. We both were talking about it, but she really wanted to push through with it. And she was going crazy, like booking the venue and like dealing with her team and doing all the creative stuff. And like I was like bringing in the artists, but I really let Annie and her team like do the rest just because I trusted Annie and like everyone else on that team. And I was just focused on like what I needed to do on my part.
You gotta be the
with
entertainer.
art. Yeah. So
You host it.
it was a great experience. Very nerve-wracking for sure. Just because like I've thrown one show from like concerts class with Mitchell and Jess, and that was like the only experience I had. And then the Worldwide Waves show too. But this was like my show. So it was very like, I wonder if people show up, like who actually supports me, who actually cares about my music, or like, yeah, I don't know. It was just scary to think like, what if no one comes?
Yeah,
Or
right.
like I only have like 30 people in the audience. And
It was packed.
and yeah, I was super surprised. I like came downstairs at the start of the show and like people were already there. I was like, damn, like people care. And it's really nice to know that like it's not just social media, because I do have a following, but you never know with people because most of this industry is very transactional and based on fake relationships. It was really nice to see that everyone was like supporting me and came out and we broke even and made some extra money. So it was really nice.
That was a huge success. Nobody makes money on a show, you know? Like, that's crazy. And you guys did it at the Echo, which is like a reputable venue around LA. I thought it was amazing. Yeah, I was also like pretty blown away by the experience. I got to meet Olea there. He's sick.
Yeah, he's so good.
And I remember because I ended up running into him at a Revels thing a few months later. And I was like, no way you're here. He was at Genevieve's album release party. But yeah, that show was amazing. And that was my first experience getting to like see Annie in action. She
Yeah,
even
also
asked,
thank you for doing the sound, helping out.
I didn't even do sound. I really just was like making sure that artists got on and off stage on time, like whatever. If I forget the dude's name who's doing sound, I wish I could send him some love, but
Yeah.
I can't think of his name. He was super. It's always like it's either like an old dirty hippie or like some young twink looking man.
Yeah.
Like always. In this case, it was the latter. But yeah, no, the experience was sick. I thought everything was really cool. Gabby made the art. Again, Gabby made the new podcast logo, so I want to send her as much love as I can.
Yeah, she did her thing on that.
But yeah, I was talking about Annie. How has your relationship with Annie been? For anybody who doesn't know, Annie's your manager. She's been your manager for years now. How has your relationship been evolving over time? I would definitely consider like you guys have been on an up all the way through. Has anything changed? How's everything been?
Everything has been really great with her. I mean, she's always on top of her shit. She's doing her master's right now.
Damn.
And working at UMPG. And she had another artist too that she was working with, managing. And then she's managing some other producers. It's just like she's doing so much. So I try to give her like the time that she needs to be sane, because I know it gets crazy for her. So sometimes we might not be like locked in as much, but most of the time it's just like great. Like we're very communicative with each other, and yeah, and she does a lot for me, which I'm super grateful for. I
Shout
love
out
you,
Annie.
Annie.
Yeah, I love Annie too. Another thing that's been going on over the past year that I noticed, which is something that I think is extra special, is that you finally been able to play on stage, big stages with other artists. I saw you out there with Shordie Shordie, and I believe you're out there with like a Latina band.
The Marias,
The
yeah.
Marias, yes, and they're huge as well.
So big.
How were those experiences being on stage like that?
Dude, so surreal. The first show I did with Shordie was very like last minute. His manager, because we did a video once before with Sparky, and we just been in touch since then. But I did one song with Shordie, and like seeing all those lights in the air and just like full of like I forget how many people. It was like, how many does the Novo have? Like 1,500 or something.
At least a rack, yeah, at least 1,000 people.
That was like my first big.
Is that where that was? I didn't even peep that's where that was.
The Novo,
I love the
yeah,
Novo.
it's so nice. And then the Marias was crazy. Like the Greek theater, it's like 6,000 people.
So
like,
crazy.
That's so wild. Like,
I knew Shordie Shordie. I couldn't remember the Maria's name. Shows what I'm into. I want to do this thing. We'll do it at the end of the episode. I have like a couple clips from the last time you were here, and we can kind of like react to them. Bring that up because when I was watching the previous episode, looking for those clips, we were talking about that. Like, oh, we definitely can't wait for you to get on stage and these different things. And so I find it like really magical that you're able to bring that to life.
Thank you.
Yeah, hell yeah. It's been really cool to watch.
So excited for like the future and stuff.
Oh, you got so much more to do, so I believe that. I was going to ask you, do you think you enjoy the experience of being on those big stages in front of huge crowds more to being in the studio with your favorite producer working on a beat for the night? Like, what do you think is your preference?
Honestly, they're very different experiences, so I feel like I can't really compare the two. Playing on stage stuff is like, has always been like a dream of mine. And like playing with like these big artists and like people watching you on stage and like just thousands of people very locked in with the music. That's just like, just a crazy experience to have. And then like making a song with an artist or a producer in the studio is just very intimate. You're connecting with the producer or artist. It's just a very different atmosphere. I don't know. I love both so much. And like, I want to continue doing both at the same time. I eventually want to go on tour too, you know.
You want to go on tour with an artist?
Yeah.
That would be so crazy.
I just need an artist who can pay enough for me to be on tour.
I feel like the tour rates are never as big as I thought they would be, because I just went on the tour with Games We Play, and the musicians aren't making that much. I know it depends on the level, obviously, and he's at that like entry level, and maybe things get bigger, better later. But like even Genevieve, like I heard a little bit about what those guys were making on that tour, and I would have thought it would have been a lot, but it was not.
I feel that. I don't know. I feel like as long as you're doing what you love, random shit just happens and random shit will come to you. I never thought I would be playing for the NBA All-Star Weekend thing. I don't know anything about basketball.
That's
so
so
it's
true.
like, yeah, I don't know. It's shit just happens, you know.
I think it comes with work, though. I don't think you should sell yourself too short. Like I do think you work really hard.
But you're working hard too.
I appreciate you saying, but sometimes I get down on myself and I worry that there's more to be done. I think everybody should have a little bit of that feeling like there's more to be done. Okay, I have something else I want to mention.
Okay.
I finally booked my flight to Japan. We're going. Yes.
Wait, when?
Wyatt and I and our friend Julian, we're going for my birthday in April.
Oh my God, that's going to be a great time to go.
Dude, I can't wait.
How much was the ticket?
We got them for so cheap because they just opened back up, obviously. We got round trip flights for $1,000 each.
Oh, wow. That's good. Yeah.
And you could have got them for even less, but we wanted to be able to bring a bag and stuff like that. Like you can really fly for the low, like $600 or $700 if you go like with a book bag.
That's so fun.
I'm not really worried at all, but if I was to be,
Yeah,
it would be about
a lot
like
of
the
them
language.
don't speak English out there.
I got Google Translate. I was in Ecuador and they don't speak English like at all. And I found it a lot more acceptable than I thought it would be to just like have my Google Translate open, just like talking to it. And then they would read that and then they would say something to it and I would read that. I hung out with these dudes one night. I just met them because I was buying lunch at a store they were working at. And they like took my number down. I ended up spending the whole night with them. Like
Oh, wow. That's amazing. When did you go?
I was just there a couple weeks ago.
Oh, what?
My dad, it's actually this crazy story. It's not that crazy, but it's kind of crazy. My dad has been trying to take my sister and I on a family vacation forever, just the three of us, because we've never really done something like that. We went to Alaska together a few years ago, but my little cousin came with us, so it wasn't really what we were. I mean, it was great, but it wasn't like just a daddy and kid trip. So he booked this trip to Peru for him and my sister and I. And then Peru started having all this crazy civil unrest. They just like overthrew their president or something. So we had to like quickly change our flights, and it was all crazy because none of the airlines were trying to like reimburse my dad. They were pretty much like, oh, you bought these tickets, that's what you get. And so he got really mad, but he was like, I don't want to go to Peru and put you guys in harm's way. So he bought these tickets to Ecuador for all three of us. And then literally like 2 days before we were supposed to fly out, my dad was like checking in or doing something with the passports, and he got a pop-up on the website that said like my sister's passport is expiring too soon to go. And not even that it expired before we went, it expired like a month or two after we got back. But apparently when you go to a lot of countries, your passport has to be legally intact for like 3 or 6 months after the trip, which is weird because then why is there even an expiration date? So my sister literally couldn't go. My dad spent all this money twice, and then my sister couldn't go. So I ended up going with just my pops, and I was a little nervous about it because my dad and I have a tendency to butt heads, but it was a really good time. We mostly bonded. He had been to Ecuador before on a nonprofit trip he was doing when he was like getting sober. Then when we were in Ecuador, just the two of us, he got this like terrible tummy ache, and so we didn't get to do that.
Did you guys drink the water?
No, he was adamant about that. He thinks he ate too much cheese.
Oh.
They have different bacteria in the cheese.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know. He's just an old man. He's not that old. Let me chill. But yeah, so that was super great. And it really opened my eyes to the legitimately, like after being there for a couple of days, it made me so much more comfortable with the idea of going to Japan because of how I was able to manage the language barrier and stuff. I will say, like, I at least speak a little Spanish, so it was fine. I speak obviously no Japanese, so I think it'll be a little harder. But yeah, I wanted to bring it up because I was wondering like what kind of recommendations or like what experiences would it be terrible for me to miss out on?
Go to Kyoto. They have these beautiful temples, these gold temples, and then they have like amazing street food. Obviously hit like Tokyo, Harajuku, Shibuya. That's like in Tokyo. Yeah, go to all the shopping and like thrift stores there and vintage stores. A lot of money, but you know, it's nice to window shop there. And it's just like lots of tech over there too, all the big buildings, and it's a vibe.
What do you do when you go?
I usually just go to Tokyo because I've already visited like a bunch of my family's places. But I just like love shopping there. They just have like the most unique stuff that you can't really get in America. And like food, obviously. Try the street food too. Really good.
Do you think I should be nervous about getting a tummy ache at all?
Everything I eat there feels so healthy. Just because they use like non-American ingredients, obviously. And it's just like, and people in Japan, they are more focused on like health and like, they're kind of like judgmental on like obesity. So like, you will never see like a very like big person in Japan.
I was kind of wondering that.
Yeah. So
genuinely.
Everything is pretty like portion controlled and like healthy. But you should go to the, actually, I don't know, you have tattoos.
I do know that's a thing.
The baths out there, they're like hot baths, and you just have to get naked
Okay.
in this
I'm
bath
trying to get in
full
there with
of
Wyatt
other
naked.
people.
Yeah, okay.
with other people. But sometimes they don't let people in with tattoos, or you just have to cover them up with like a bandage.
I do know that's like a thing. It gets somewhat disrespectful. Wyatt and I were hypothesizing, mostly he was hypothesizing. Does it have to do with the idea that the tattoos are related like the Yakuza?
Yeah, definitely. It used to be like very much more, I don't know the word, just like bad.
Taboo,
yeah. But now I feel like the younger generations are getting more tattoos, so like they're easing up on it, but still like a weird thing for them to accept.
I totally get that. All of mine are on my legs, so I'm anticipating just like bringing a lot of pants and just like wearing pants all the time.
Yeah, it shouldn't be that hot.
I didn't even think about that. I'm the
Probably
worst.
be like 70, 75 degrees in April. Maybe a little bit less.
I think it'll be sick. I'm going to turn 25 in Japan. Feel good about that. But I booked the trip and I made this really silly error where I booked it on both weekends of Coachella. So I'm missing Frank and I want to die.
Damn.
I love Frank.
Me too. I really want to go, but it's so expensive.
It's so expensive.
Like I went last year, it was only 300 because I bought it like a week before. But like this year, it's 600 flat.
Oh, so you don't think anybody will resell that low?
No.
Damn.
And it's like everyone wants to see Frank. Like, of course, they're not going to like lowball. Like,
yeah, you're right. Everybody's going. Mitchell got free passes AEG or like cheap. Free or cheap?
Bro, what?
Yeah, and he's taking Sean.
What? No. What? That's crazy. I'm so mad.
Sean's never been to like a camping fest before.
Oh, are they camping?
Yeah, definitely. In general, I was going to ask you like what's coming up in the future, what's on the books, what do you got coming up?
I'm throwing another Kawai Friends show.
Kawai Friends too?
Yes, but DJ edition.
Okay. All DJs?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's gonna be like a warehouse type vibe, like rave. Not rave, like underground shit.
Do you have a venue?
No, I'm planning it right now.
Did you see the venue we did our rave at?
Which one was?
I don't think you were there.
No, I wasn't. I wanted to go back.
It's literally right here, Vermont, Washington. We got it for very cheap. The dude Brian runs it. You would love him. Brian's cool. Very about his business. I had a lot of great like entrepreneurial conversations with him. Huge space. I'll take you like if you want to go.
Yeah,
Brian's
for
cool.
sure.
I have his number. I feel like that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, probably. Warehouse vibe, right? I'm gonna have Candy do the creative stuff.
God, I love Candy so much.
It shouldn't be as hard as the artist show.
Why do you think?
I feel like dealing with artists is just a lot more difficult. DJs is like you just use one set, one mixer, and it's more of a party. Like I don't have to like host that much. I don't want to like talk as much as I did last time. You all know
I
I
feel
don't
like
like
with the
talking.
DJ show, you gotta talk more. You don't think?
No, that's gonna kill the vibe.
I like when the DJs engage with the crowd.
I'll do it. I'll be like, "Yo, what's good?"
Party people.
Yeah. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'll have a host, but dude, I can't. I just hate.
Nah, you should host it.
It gives me so much stress.
Everybody's just feeding off what you're saying. You could literally call them all stupid and they would be like, yes. So just say whatever you want. Damn, I'm excited for that. Let me know if I can help at all. I would love to.
Thank you.
Super excited for that.
Oh, I also might be going to Italy.
When?
So I got invited to this beat retreat. It's like a retreat in this wine garden or like winery, whatever, in Tuscany. And this guy, his name is Tom, but he owns this or he works at a label, owns it called Polygram. It's for producers, but he has these beat retreats. I think last year was the first time I did it, but my two friends did it last year, and they said it was really fun. It's just like producers, instrumentalists come together. It's like a group of at least 10 people to 15 maybe. It's for a week and just make music in this wine garden.
Do you find that making music in these beautiful nature-filled places like helps you create?
Oh, it's definitely inspirational. I love nature and it like inspires me so much.
I've seen you like in Big Bear always producing and stuff like
Big
that.
Bear, my favorite beat that I made was in Big Bear because I was doing some things and it was like 4 a.m. under the full moon. And that was when I was like very locked into my inner self. And I made my favorite beat that night. I was in nature and just looking at the forest.
Something about like the people you're with, the place you're at, it really does impact what you're making. I wish there was like a way to describe it, but it's just like a feeling. On the note of creating in beautiful places with beautiful people, have you been feeling like spiritually good in general? I know that's something that's very important to you.
Yeah, I've been feeling really good mentally and like spiritually. Physically, I'm not sure. But I have been lacking on going to the gym and just like taking care of my body, and like I've been eating like shit. I mean, I'm very happy with everything I'm doing, and like I know everything's gonna come back to me tenfold, and like I'm creating every day, which is what I wanted to do and what I've been wanting to do since I was a baby. So that's all I can ask for, you know?
Of course. I think it's always good to just remind yourself, like you just said, like this is something that you, and I'll speak for myself as well, like we've wanted for a long time. And I have to like constantly remind myself, yeah, I'm definitely broke, but I'm still like in LA, working hard, achieving goals slowly but surely. Things take time. I only just realized like last year when I was 24 that I actually have to work to be successful. Like up until then, I thought that things might just like work out, but I'm realizing now the true like amount of hours I have to put in, and I think they work out when you do it the right way.
And I just think like expressing gratitude is like the main thing that keeps me like positive. Is like even if like shit goes down or like I don't get something that I wanted, or like I was trying to manifest something that I wanted but it didn't work out, every day I'm like, thank you, you're giving me the life that I want. Just being like grateful for the things that I already have and like things that will come. That's what keeps me very like positive and like.
It's a beautiful perspective. I love that.
Be grateful for shit that you have.
That actually was the perfect segue. I want to play these clips. I haven't figured out exactly how I want to do it, so we'll see how it goes this time. I didn't even get them in video format, just audio, so we'll listen. And I have like a question for each one, so we'll see what the vibe is. And then I'll edit it, and if it's shitty, then I'll never do it again.
Like,
No, I'll figure something out. Initially, like, I think what I want to get to is like getting the video version of the clip and putting it on the screen and we can both watch it up there. Like, that would at least like put us in the moment. Right now, we're just going to listen to my laptop. So you're talking about being grateful, and I consider that a piece of advice that you're providing. And so I have this clip. 2 years ago, we were talking about this. So this is the first clip.
this girl I do know who plays the harp, who also goes to USC.
Okay.
She reached out to me, actually. She's like 2 years younger than me. But yeah, she reached out to me. She's like, I love what you're doing. And like, I want to do what you do. I'm like, oh yeah. And she's like, do you have any like tips for me? I'm like, of course. And then I just wrote like a whole paragraph of stuff. And like, I love like telling people what I do and like how to get there, you know.
I'm wondering, has anybody else hit you up and asked for advice? And what advice would you give to this girl now that you've had 2 more years of experience behind you?
I don't think I've come across people who are like, you're an inspiration and stuff like that, but not particularly for harp or like other harpists that I know. Actually, my friend who's a harpist, she like wants to do the shit that I do too, and I think she could definitely do it too. But I haven't like really come across anyone like that other girl that I was talking about earlier. I think the advice that I would give is just don't be scared to share your art and like provide content. If you're just sitting in a room like making all these things but you're not sharing it, our world is so like media focused now that you kind of have to like put yourself out there even if it's uncomfortable. I hate doing that, and I don't hate it, but like I don't want to be making videos all the time, like my own videos. I like doing videos for other people, but like my own beat videos or like the covers I do, like I don't want that to be my main thing, but it's definitely important for my growth that I did that in the beginning because it put my face out there, put my name out there for sure, and it helped with like all the connections that I made. And it's gonna continue helping if I make more videos like that. So I just feel like more people should be like, don't fight the power of media.
Don't fight the power, and also like don't get caught up in your own ego, like getting obsessed with the final product. Like, I do agree with you. I think it's good to just put out, honestly, in this day and age, like there's definitely a standard, but like as long as you're hitting this like low standard, the more content, the better, you know?
Yeah, and like it just reaches so many more audiences when you just share something. Like, I literally would never expect in my life to be the way it is right now if I didn't start making TikToks independent and just doing all these covers to rap songs. I was just doing that for fun. And like, maybe I was like, maybe it'll blow up. But then I was just like, whatever, I'll just do it.
If only you had layers back then who knows what you'd be up to now. Hey, send me my money. Where's my bill? Okay. Hey, layers. Who's the boss? Tell him to sign my name. Okay, and then I have more clips I want to go through. You say yourself, you're a very like introverted person, you know, but you don't actually strike me as such. Like, I do think you do go out of your way a lot to like meet new people and put yourself in situations that will help you succeed. Mm-hmm. Is that something that sort of started to happen more as you moved away from home?
Yeah, definitely. When I was home, I was so quiet. Like, I get anxious talking to people, like in high school, and like I couldn't carry on conversations. But like when I got to college, I was like, I need to make friends and like just talk to people and just like get out of my shell. And I'm still like nervous talking to people, but like I realize now that like if I make things awkward, it will be awkward. Yeah. So I try not to do that.
So do you still feel introverted today when you're meeting these new people? And then I want to know an example of a time where you felt like you walked away from a conversation and you were like, oof, I made it awkward. Better luck next time. So I thought that was a very specific way to phrase that.
I'm always going to be an introverted person. I just love being alone, and I don't like talking to people, like straight up. Like I wish I didn't have to talk to people. Like I put on, like I could be in like a forest and just not talk to anyone. Obviously I need to do it because that's what gets me more connections, networking, blah, blah.
And fulfillment.
Yeah. But I'm still pretty shy in studio sessions when there's a lot of people and they're more outgoing. Even in my house, everyone else is very outgoing. They talk a lot. I feel like I'm mostly in my room. I'm the quiet one, but I don't mind being the quiet one. And I feel like before I was like too hard on myself for being quiet and like was forcing shit that I didn't want I just didn't want to force conversations and situations, but now I'm just like, I'm going to embrace my quietness. If people want to get to know me, we'll have like a natural conversation, but I don't want to like, if I don't feel the need to talk, then I'm not going to. Even in sessions, like still to this day, people are like, you're so quiet. Like in sessions, like I'll just not say anything. And like, it's normal to me, but I guess like a lot of people are around more outgoing people. So they're not used to like people who are way more chill. I just like embrace it now.
I also think it lines up with what you were saying, where like there's a lot of fake people in this industry. And I feel like by not saying a whole lot, you're obviously not fake. You're not like trying to get something out of anybody. I think that's like a good default to lie on.
But it definitely affects like some relationships that I have. Like I wish I was more outgoing and be like, yo, like let us connect, blah, 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 and like let me get your number, blah, blah, blah. Like I do that sometimes, but like most of the time I'm very like in the back, and like I will connect with that person if I connect with them. I don't want to force a relationship that's not natural to me. And so in some sessions, I'm going to be very talkative and like be interested in what you're saying, or like just interact with that person more, but it's based on energy. Like I'm so big on energy. There's just certain people that I connect with and some people that I don't. So that's that.
I'm wondering about the awkward thing. Why do you think you phrased it that way? Are there moments where you feel like you make conversations awkward?
I mean, I feel like when I'm in conversations, I just don't carry on the conversation. I feel like most people like to keep flowing, and like I just can't think of things to ask, and like I just get stumped. I'm like, so I'm gonna go. Parties, like people like will come up to me like, yo, like what's up, how you been? I'm like, yeah, I've been good, blah blah, and then they'll ask me shit, and I'm like, yeah, so that's what I've been up to. And then I'll be like, oh, my friend's over there and they're going now.
Oh, my mom's calling. I gotta go.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I hate small talk.
I hate small talk too, but I'm realizing as an adult that like it's just a thing that we all do. As a society, we all subscribe to this like, bro, when I go back to Delaware, the thing I look forward to the least is like running into people I haven't seen in 5 years, and we have to do that thing.
Bro, I went to my high school reunion.
Oh, you went?
Yeah, it
we
was
had
5
ours.
years.
I didn't go. Yeah.
It was fine. I didn't like my high school experience, so that's why I was like, whatever. But my friends were going, so I went. And like so many people were coming up to me that I never talked to, or like I hated, or like they were like mean to me. They're like, yo, I've been seeing you do your thing. I'm like, ugh. You literally have never talked to me in your life. So
You'll get more of that, I feel like.
yeah. So it was really funny, but definitely validating, because I don't follow anyone from high school except my best friends. And
They all follow you. Fuck yeah.
fuck you.
Yeah, fuck them. Okay, we'll do one more clip, please, if you don't mind.
It's like honestly surreal, because I've already worked with like so many rappers and artists that like I've been listening to like since high school.
That's crazy.
And it's just like meeting them in the moment. I don't feel like nervous or scared. Like it just didn't hit me. Like I'm just meeting a person. But like when I look back on it, it's just like, wow, I really did that. Like I really manifested all this into my life.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, since I was a kid, like in middle school, I always knew I wanted to be like on stage with like a cool artist, because I was listening to like Florence and the Machine. They had a harpist with them on the band, and I was like, wow, that's so cool, I want to do that. And like it's really happening now, and it's just like crazy to me.
So my question for you, because I feel like we already spoke a lot about the manifesting of being on stage. At the beginning of this, you said that like when you meet these people, you are able to treat them as like regular people. Have you had a moment of being starstruck now? Because I feel like you've been working with even higher level artists and producers and these things.
I feel like I don't really get starstruck. I don't know. I don't want to idolize people, because then that will make me feel more awkward in talking to them. So I try not to like put them on a pedestal, because they're all regular people too. They just have fans, a bigger audience, but like I try to talk to people just more on a personal level, and I'm still that quiet girl, and like I'm not gonna put a mask on.
And you're always a real person too. I just wanted to ask, because I always thought that I would never be starstruck, because I always felt like, yeah, I treat everybody like a normal person. And then when I met Wiz Khalifa for my meet and greet, I was stuttering, I was shaking. I was starstruck. And I realized in that moment that like some people do have that kind of power over me. And since being in LA, I've run into celebrities, but I don't think like actors and actresses hit me like artists, because I feel like I connect to the artist on a much deeper level. I had a whole conversation with Adam Sandler once, and I wasn't nervous at all. We were just talking about life. Actually, we talked about the XFL, like just some random ass thing, because he was eating dinner and I was serving him because I'm a server boy. I'm poor, let's not forget. We didn't meet at a party. And it made me realize that I don't meet a lot of like musicians or artists that I love out in the world.
I mean, I feel like I would be starstruck if it was like Harry Styles or Justin Bieber. The top people are probably very nervous. Even Frank or SZA too. But like, yeah, I just don't want to. I don't want to put them too far on a pedestal, because I feel like it will just create a distance between me and them and me working with them. My mindset is like, I can still work with them. Like, I have the ability to get to that level. So I don't want to create a distance.
I think that's a great idea. I think I totally support that. Yeah, 100%. All right, well, we've been going at this for a minute. We'll start wrapping up. If we were to react to this episode in like maybe 2 years from now, what's something that you would want to tell yourself in 2 years, or something that you hope to strive to achieve by then?
I hope I'm on tour in a few years and I'm still thriving. I'm fully making money just by doing music, and maybe living somewhere like after this music stuff, like I definitely just want to settle down and just vibe.
I love that. For me, yeah, like I want the woods. I want that shit so bad. I want my Kanye West shit, kind of. I don't know if I can mention him anymore. Well, then that being said, Sarah, thank you for joining me. Thank you for telling us about your life and everything going on. I appreciated the update. I haven't seen you in a while, and I'm really glad we got this time to catch up. Sorry that I forced you to do it on air, but hey, gotta do it. I'm on my grind now. So everybody, if you made it this far, I appreciate you. I love you. We'll have more next week. Shouts out Sarah. Shouts out Wyatt in there eating peanut butter with a spoon out of the jar. All right, everybody. Bye.
Bye.